Next up, we have Mark Laxer from Vermont. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. So these two stories in the song are, it's about the fragility of life. And credit to Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones for their song Sister Morphine. Sister Morphine, the melody of which I'm borrowing here. So 2 months ago, I went to Tasmania, which is on the other side of the planet, part of Australia. And it's the southern part of Australia. It's about the size of West Virginia. And I went to meet up with my daughter and her friend who are taking gap years before college, and they're traveling around. So I had 2 weeks, and the idea was to meet up in Sydney Airport and fly to Hobart, which is the capital of Tasmania, and have an adventure, rent a car, go counterclockwise around Tasmania, despite the fact that the roads are kind of narrow and people drive on the wrong side of the road. But we decided to do that. So the last time I was in Tasmania was about 10 years ago. I was just coming out of Indonesia, and I came down with dengue fever, and which is a mosquito, but like malaria, mosquito-borne illness. And in Tasmania, not far from Hobart, in a place called Snug, I visited some scientist friends, our Antarctic scientists, and just with 104-degree fever, and my kids crashed in their bedroom for a week and hydrated and tried not to die. So coming back to this time with my daughter, we flew into Hobart, and really we started out by going south and to an island. And if you get to an island off an island off an island, you know that the adventure is about to begin. So we ended up on Bruny Island, which is south of Tasmania. Took a ferry boat, and there's winds howling, and if you go further south from there, that's Antarctica. I mean, that's the next landmass, basically. And so it's very windy and beautiful, and it was just fantastic. We walked all around looking for penguins and shearwaters, and then we went up to Hobart and stayed with our friends, our Antarctic scientist friends, and hung out with them and did hiking, and it was great to see them, and I thanked them for 10 years ago taking care of me. Of course, they said, what are friends for? So that was beautiful to see them. And then we went up on the East Coast, going counterclockwise, went to Fressonnet National Park. It was so incredibly beautiful. And we went up Mount Amos by Hazards Bay. And, it was kind of steep going up, and I got halfway up, and it got steeper and steeper, and the rocks got sort of slippery. So the girls kept going up, and I went back and went to flatter grounds. But we had a wonderful time. Then we went around toward the west to Mole Creek and went to these limestone caves and just had the most incredible time. And then went a little further around Tasmania, and we went for a hike. Now, please keep in mind that it's our winter. It was end of January or February. It was winter here in New England, but summer in Australia, in the southern hemisphere. So it's nice and warm, and there's just so many birds and wildlife and crazy creatures down there, because it's like a continent. It's just a huge island. Australia's huge. It's the landmass of the United States, basically. And they're so isolated that animals just evolved weirdly or differently. So there's wallabies, these little mini kangaroos hopping around, and there's wombats, and there's Tasmanian devils, and there's kookaburra birds, which are sort of like the sound of the loon on acid. I mean, it's just like you'd think it was just made up. It's just wild nature and beautiful and nice and warm, and we're going hiking. And we love to go hiking, so this is great. And we're wearing our sneakers and our shorts, and we're just hiking up the side of the mountain and just looking all around us. I'm coming from winter in New England. It's like I'm looking all around, looking up, and all the different colored birds and weird stuff. And we get kind of like toward the crest of this small mountain, and we see this couple sort of on the trail ahead of us, and there's something going on. They were just, they froze. They just froze. And they're frozen in their body, but they're also trying to indicate with their fingers or something. Like, something's wrong. Stop. They're kind of saying, stop moving. And so the three of us, we stopped hiking. And we're looking around and like, what's up with them? They weren't that far, but they weren't hugely close. And they're right on the trail. We're gonna walk right past them. And I'm looking like, what's going on? And then I saw it. And the girl saw it. It's like about a 3.5 foot long, very thick, very healthy black snake. And it's like slithering through the brush as snakes do, and we could see it. And because it's so vibrant and so beautiful and so robust with life. This was not like a little innocent kind of gentle, humble creature. This is like, I'm in charge here. It had that vibe. And then all of a sudden, I've never seen this before. It gets up, it's like, I don't know, I may have the proportions wrong, but like 2 feet of its 3 feet or 3.5 feet were erect, like straight up, like a cobra. And it was like, and I'm looking at this thing, and this couple is looking at this thing, and the girls, my daughter and her bestie are looking at this thing. And then it starts climbing around the bushes, climbing a tree. The snake is going up in a tree, and then it comes back down. And it's like slithering, and then we can't see it. And they're like, where is this thing? And then I'm looking down at the ground, and I notice once again that I'm wearing shorts, and I'm wearing sneakers. And I'm like looking all around, la-di-da-di-da, in Australia. But here's the thing to keep in mind. This black snake was a tiger snake. And it's the second deadliest snake in Australia. And there's so many things in Australia that can kill you. It boggles the imagination. And this was one of the deadlier ones. And there it was. And had that couple not seen it and notified us, we would have neurotoxins aside, 2 weeks ago, I had a surgery. 2 weeks ago, I had a surgery, and it was needed, and it had to happen quickly. It was important that it happened quickly. And all of a sudden, time went on. I had it coming up, and then all of a sudden, it's time. It's time. And, I woke up 3 a.m. and I'm finally there. And then I'm being wheeled into an operating. I had this IV in the operating room, and it's like, just like in a movie. It's like there's freaking bright lights, and people are so nice. And the doctors, the surgeon is just, these people are angelic. The nurses are like gods and goddesses. It was just incredible. I felt so supported. I was surrounded by competent, amazing people. So I wasn't like freaked out in that sense. But I was being strapped down and had tubes coming out of me and stuff like that. And the odd thing is, they were talking to me, and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up and the surgery was done. And it's just like, when I was waking up, I was thinking, that's weird. I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember getting groggy because the anesthesia was kicking in. I don't remember any of that. There was no dreams. Like when I wake up, it's like, normally I remember, wow, that was an interesting dream. There was nothing. It was just bingo, reset, here I am. And so, okay, so I get to this other room, and I'm in the room, and I'm in this hospital bed. And people keep coming in and asking for blood, and they have needles, and they're pricking me, and they keep waking me up. And of course, everyone's well-intentioned, but like I'm getting on edge here, and because time is marching on, I'm supposed to walk. And meanwhile, I'm like, please, can we take me off the opioids? Because it's, for various reasons. It's not like I'm going to get addicted, but it's like, I don't want to get all bottled up. So just let's try some Tylenol. But meanwhile, I'm supposed to walk. But I'm not, like, Mr. Laxer, you can't really be walking out here alone. Okay, so I'm like, got this rolly thing with all these tubes and pouches of liquids and all sorts of rolly things. And I'm like walking down, but I'm like really frail. Normally I walk 12, 14,000 steps a day. But here I'm like just trying to get down the hallway and then come back and get to bed. Because I feel knocked out. I feel on edge. I feel really weak. And then I see this other guy who's got one of these rolly things too, and he's not going much faster than me. And I look at him, and we had eye contact. And he's got the tubes and stuff, and he's hunched over, and he looked at me, and he said, "Mobility is life." And I'm like, wow. Right on, brother. And then I get to bed and I'm like, okay, I try to get some sleep, and they're poking me with needles and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, this is getting to be a little bit much. And then this nurse comes in, and she's from Kentucky. And she's like, so sweet. All the nurses were sweet and so kind. And like, how can I help you? How are you doing? And so, but she's telling stories about Kentucky. And I'm like talking about the time I did this, and she's talking about, and it's like, I get my mind off this. It was great. It was so much fun. And then she said, wait a minute, Mark, hold on a second. There's something wrong. Okay. And she said, something's blocked up here, and we're going to have to do something. I'm so sorry about this, Mark, because you're doing so great, but we're going to have to do you an irrigation. And I said, what? And we're going to have to irrigate you. What? Okay, if you need to do it, let's go. So I got 3 irrigations, and then she had to leave. It was the next shift. And I had 3 irrigations, and it was not, I'm not even going to talk about it. And then she left, and I got up out of the bed, and no one else was in the room, and I just rolled this thing over the corner of the bed, and I just started to cry. And I wasn't crying because I didn't feel supported. I totally felt supported by the surgeon, and the doctors and the nurses were incredible. And my friends, I just felt a wave of love all around me. But that's not why I was crying. I was crying because I felt the fragility of human life. Here I lie on my hospital bed. Tell me, Mr. Surgeon, my plumbing ever work again? Oh, I can't wait that long. Oh, you see, I'm not that strong. Well, it just goes to show things are not what they seem. Mr. Surgeon, turn my fears into dreams. Can't you see? I'm not ready to go. All my tears irrigate below. Noise of the hospital are sounding in my ear. Tell me, Mr. Surgeon, can I get out of here? Oh, you see, I want to know my fate. It feels like I was bit by a tiger snake. Here I lie on my hospital bed. Tell me, Mr. Surgeon, will my plumbing ever work again? Oh, and I can't wait that long. Oh, you see, I'm not that strong.